So in the PowerPack for Advanced Steel, we're taking a look at our wall rail macro, and in particular, we're going to start looking at our ending types. We've made some changes into how this works for the loop end arrangement. So I'm just coming into the ending type, and I'm obviously setting this for both ends of the rail. Now, by default, when I change to the ending subpage, you'll see that the corner grouping here has changed in this version, and we now have an option to introduce a mitre as well as a bent element. So if I change that under the group ones, this will change on the end detail here. And then I can repeat that at the group 2 elements here. And then finally, the return segment to the wall can also now be set to a mitre. Obviously, the parameters in here can be adjusted if you need to. You can change the value to increase the depth, which will drop that one down. Obviously, you can change the nominal length as well here, which will increase this extension value L1. And obviously, if you decide you want to put it back, you can put it back there and just change it again. So the functionality remains as it was previously. The other small change that we've introduced is a gap to wall distance. So where this returns here, you can actually shorten this back slightly to give you a gap between the wall face and the end of the tube. Obviously, options to merge the ending still exist within the macro, so you can merge all this together if you want to, even though it's a mitered section. So those options are still there. And if we just come to the caps, we've actually introduced the caps to the ending of the rail as well. So activating the caps, you have a choice between a plate and a special part, and obviously you can affect the thickness of the cap plate there. Obviously you can adjust it to be projecting beyond or slightly reduced and control the weld size. And obviously you've seen me applying that to the main start end here. So if we go to the other end, we can do exactly the same thing. And obviously you can do this at the top level of the tree operation. So in this case, we've only got two options because we don't have the third section here. So we don't have the extra extension part onto the group 2. So it's just these two options that are available. And obviously you can see that the cap plate is present in there as well because I did it at the top level. So that's a couple of changes that we've made within the version to the loop ending type. So welcome to this session where we're going to talk about the Grabrail endings, which is part of the standard railing macro within the PowerPack from Advanced Steel. So if we just zoom in a bit here, obviously we can see the Grabrail element, which is part of the macro, is enabled. And under here, there's an ending option. And you can enable the endings via the checkbox here, and it will default to the loop type. You can see that the arrangement comes in here, and traditionally this would have the bent arrangement. So in this version, we've actually redesigned this portion of the dialog to match up with how we're doing the main railing. And we did that because we wish to enable a mitre option to the various segments here. So obviously group 1, and then I'm moving into group 2, which is here, and then group 3 there, which is actually the return to the post. And obviously here I can control how the Grabrail is actually cut back into the post. So there it's been set to contour. Obviously you can affect the dimensions the same as in other elements we have within the macro. Using the dialog fields here, we change that and it changes the height, etc. And obviously the extension length can be changed as well if you so wish. You can make it longer or smaller and it will obviously extend it out. So I'm just going to put it back to being 200. And the option here, so if you want to go into the start end of the tree, then obviously you can change the configuration of this if you so wish. I'm just going to put that back to horizontal. So obviously the various mitre joints are available within those. The other option is to look out for is obviously the return to the rail. And in that you'll have the various groups. So group 2, which is this element here, and obviously group 3 is active in this case, is actually the return to this rail, and obviously there's the shaping it into the return element of the main railing. So obviously we've been focusing on the bottom, but the same can be seen in the top. So where I was actually in both, I was changing that as well within there as well, but you can obviously come in and change this individually at the various tree levels that you need. So all the same options are there. The final bit I suppose to talk about is actually the merge option. So if you do feel that you need to merge the rail, the merge option is available to merge the start and end elements of the Grabrail. So if I'm just going to tick in there, you'll see that that is now merged into one segment, and obviously that can be split up within the overall span of the railing. So some improvements there to the loop ending type, where we've introduced the mitered corners into this to match the main railing element itself, and obviously the wall rail elements.